Hi. Some of you are wondering how to make the nose pieces for the mask, and I found a way that I feel like works pretty good, so I thought I'd show you what I do. It holds the shape very well, as you can see on this mask. Don't mind my stitching. That was a disaster. Anyway, one of the things I did wrong on that was on that mask, I didn't use a jean needle. So anyway, here we go. Here's how I make the nose pieces. First thing I do is I have this wire. It's called Bright Paddle Wire. It's 26 gauge. I found it in my crafting stuff. And what I do is I get out 16 inches of it. And then I take my little wire nippers and I cut it off. And these are like really cheap wire nippers, so they don't work the best, but they will do. So then I fold it in half and I match up my ends and I hang on to those, and then I kind of straighten this out a little and then bring up this other end. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So that I have basically 4 strands. And I want the straight end to be just shorter than my bent end. So I'm going to put that in there and hold it like that. And then I'm going to twist. But the best way to hold these, I want that just a little taller. Let me fix it and I'll show it to you. The pokey ends are right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a hold of it with my cutters, and then I put my finger in. Whoops. With these cheap things, if I don't get it just in the right exact spot, it doesn't hold it well. Anyway, I put my finger in this loop and I just twist around and twist around and twist around. Do you see how that's twisting? And I just twist and twist. And then when I get to the end where my finger's too fat and I can't do it anymore, then I do it by hand. And it makes a pretty nice thicker wire. Obviously 4 times thicker than what I had before. So then when I get to the end and I can't really twist it much more, I just kind of squish it with my little plier things. So now, to keep these ends from being sharp, I go over here to where I have my glue gun set up. And I just put a little bit on this side, a little bit on that side. Then I do the same thing over here. A little bit. But one thing, when you're sewing this into your mask, do not sew over this glue. Make your pocket out just a little ways, because it'll gum up your needle and you'll be sorry. So anyway, here's one I made earlier. Can you see the glob of glue on the end? I think that will help keep it from poking out of the mask. Anyway, so this takes a little time, but I do like a few, kind of do a production thing. Since I have my glue gun on, I will set and make several of these. Then I'll turn that off, and then I'll begin the production of making my mask. And real quickly, let me show you how I do mine so that they have a pocket. I take 2 pieces of 7x9 fabric and I iron them, and then I sew like up to here, skip, and up to here, and I leave a spot in the middle, and then I go over to my ironing board and I iron it out like that, and that leaves me a gap. See? And then I put it face to face with my front fabric. They say they want different colors for the front and the back so that the person wearing them continue, you know, when they take it off, they put it back on properly. So then I take a hairband like this, and I cut it in half, and I find the seam where it's put together, and I cut there, and then I just cut it in half. And then I put this, I've got my 2 layers here with my hole, and I put that down on the pretty side of the other fabric like this. And then I begin to sew, line these up nicely. And then I put this inside, and then I sew a couple times, and I continue on like this. And then when I get down here, I reach in here. We're pretending that's sewn, and then I pull this around. Of course, that's not going to be flopping all over the place. I pull it around till I'm at this side. Takes a little bit of fiddling, not a whole lot, but I like to take my time because there's no sense in making one that you're not happy with. Anyway, so then when I get to this side, I go back and forth a couple times. Then I go around and do the same thing at the other end. Then when I get that part done, you take this part here and turn it right side out. And then I use a knitting needle, a big one. This is a number 15. It doesn't matter. You can use a chopstick or whatever. And I poke my corners out. And then I serge around the outside. Oh, excuse me. Before I turn it right side out, I serge all the outside. Anyway, so then after you have that part, it all sewn, then you make your pleats. And ouch, that was dumb. Anyway, so I was trying at first to make 3 pleats, and it just was so crappy looking. So I've started just doing 2, and I think it looks a lot nicer. So I just do the 2 pleats and iron those down, and then sew across here. Then is when I put my nose piece in. That's my last thing. I poke it up through this hole, poke it up to the top hem there, and then I just sew around. Let me grab that other one. Even though the sewing, I was having trouble with my needles, so please forgive the stitching. Anyway, so you go beyond where this is. I try to get it in the middle. I'm not doing all this measuring and stuff, but I give it a shot. Anyway, so you go beyond the end of it and go down, back stitch, come across, and then go up like that and back stitch. But this will be good for our family to use. And let me go ahead and put it on, and so you can see what it looks like, even though I'm not the cutest model. But I can put a filter inside of it, and here it attaches to my ears. Now if I have to wear these all the time and get ear strain, then I could make a headband, sew a couple buttons on, and attach this to the button. Anyway, that's